Keep relaxing. Keep relaxing. Do these things to untense, and we will approach each day with a better outlook, poised, relaxed. That's the way to let yourself go. Let yourself relax. Let yourself go. Let yourself go.
It usually takes a crisis for action, for people to actually start to do something seriously. If you look at the acid rain debate, the action only began when it was possible to show on the front of magazines that trees were dying in Germany, that lakes were suffering in the northern latitudes, Scandinavia, Canada. The same for the ozone hole. The action really began when people saw pictures on their television of the ozone hole, and then further data that showed that this wasn't just happening in the Antarctic, it was happening elsewhere. What does it take then for climate change? How bad does it have to get for action to begin to be taken seriously?
Our view has been that the biosphere is stable. It's infinitely resilient. We can do basically anything we want, and it just repairs itself all the time. We've just been living with that, and we're taking it for granted. But this era is over. This sort of luxury phase for humanity is now over.
Well, on the one hand, if we continue on our present course, I'd say the outlook is really bleak, both for humanity and for the natural environment. On the other hand, we have a huge window of opportunity now to apply much more understanding that we didn't dream of having just a few decades ago, of how fragile the Earth system is, of how human impacts affect it, and of how we can improve our practices, the way we interact with the natural world to sustain and fulfill our lives.
When I think about my children, I can see very clearly that they're having a more difficult time economically than I had at the same age. And I don't know, I expect my grandchildren will face the same sorts of problems. In a way, that makes me sad. On the other hand, I know that it can't go on. And so the sooner that things change, the better. So I'm hopeful that their lives will be good, perhaps better than mine. I think you know, the real enjoyment of life comes from friendship, good relationships, family relationships, environmental, living in a healthy environment, not so much from consuming more and more stuff.
What people like to say is probably our children's problem. But it's a bad message to convey that it's too late, because what you do now happens in 50 years' time, roughly, with the climate. So it's not too late to do something. It's late in the short term. We are seeing changes, and we will see lots of changes over the next decade. But now is the time to act, I think, is what the models are showing us very clearly.
We must start now, because as I said, you can't change an energy system overnight. You can't change an agricultural system overnight. And I think that when you look historically at how long it's to change systems, it's anywhere from 30, 40, 50 years to change these. So I think this is giving us a very clear message that decisions need to be made now, that societies need to discuss and debate now, not 10 years from now, not 20 years from now. You may have heard that, for example, some economists think, well, it isn't a big problem now, let's wait till it is a problem. Well, the way the Earth system works, by the time we realize this is a very serious problem, it's going to be too late.